Hi, good morning. It's Monday the 7th of June 2021 today. A bit late making my video, busy weekend, and decided to crack on, get it done on Monday morning. Right, okay. I want to start by asking a question. How many times have you joined Slimming World? I'm going to talk about how many times I've joined. I was lying in bed this morning trying to add up in my head all the different venues I've been to for Slimming World, and I got to 10. And that was some in the city centre, some in my hometown, some in the next town, and some in the next but one town. And I quite made myself laugh really, because I was looking at all the different friends I've made at different groups over the years, and most of them I'm still friends with. And when we meet up, you know, we talk about when we went to Slimming World, and most of us still have a weight problem, and we're still working on it. It's an ongoing project, shall we say. I know nobody really today in my circle of friends who has ever got to target and stayed there easily. We all fluctuate, and I would say most of us fluctuate within a couple of stone, which is what I've been doing over the last few months. Joe just looked at my book for me, and I think he'd probably show it on camera, but 10 weeks ago on the 26th of March I was 11 stone 3.5. Today, by the grace of God and Slimming World, I'm 10 stone 8, so I lost half a pound this week. But it's taken me 10 weeks to lose that 9.5 pounds. And that's okay, because I'm still not looking to cross a finishing line. I don't believe there is such a thing as a destination when you're on a weight loss journey. I think it's just that sometimes you're on the motorway, sometimes you take the scenic route, sometimes you pull off and you stay for a while in a lay-by. And then when you've had long enough in that lay-by, you get back onto the motorway or you get back onto the scenic route. And there's no wrong way and there's no right way. But the one thing I'm sure that there isn't today is perfection. I don't think I've ever met anybody in my... how many years have I been around Slimming World? 45? Yeah, 19 when I first joined. I'm 64 today. So in my 45 years of Slimming World, I've never met anybody who actually achieved and maintained perfection. I know people who've been at Target for years, but they're only at Target. Like my Slimming World consultant, Naomi, is a Target member, and she's at Target because she lives, eats, breathes, sleeps, and teaches Slimming World Plan. You know, but likewise, I know plenty of consultants who aren't at Target because it's just as hard for them as it is for us. I was listening to the Slimming World podcast last Monday, and it was about Target, because the two ladies who do it, Anna the consultant, Anna Mangum the consultant, and Claire, no, I don't know Claire's new surname, because Claire Freeman, as she was, she's now married, but Claire, the member who does it with Anna, has just achieved Target. And she did this by being sensible. She had in mind a target always. She's been doing this for like 2+ years, 2.5 years now. And she always had in mind a target she wanted to achieve. And she realised that she was actually maintaining in an area where she was comfortable. She's doing the gym, she's much healthier, she's married, she's got a nice life, a nice husband, a good job, she works very hard. And she has actually decided to call Target earlier than she would have done, because she knows now, dwelling in that place for a good few months, that she's in the right place. And I really respected that. I thought, good girl. That makes so much sense. You're living it, you're experiencing it, you know what it feels like, you know you can maintain it. She turned vegan about 18 months ago, and she's maintaining it as a vegan. And I thought, that is when you've got to where you want to be. And you've maintained it for a good few months. So she lost £1 to get to her new target. And I think really, really well done, Claire. Now, they were talking about getting to Target and staying at Target and living at Target as a Slimming World member, because of course it's a Slimming World podcast and it's sponsored by Slimming World head office. Now, I have to say, very little of what they said I actually agreed with from my experience, because Anna was sharing that as a consultant, you get to Target and you are given your Slim for Life book, and you work out whether you're an A, B or C life member, and you follow that, and you add a certain number of A choices, B choices and SIMs, depending on which one you're at. And if you're a C member, you had quite a bit actually. And she was saying after 12 weeks at Target, basically you should be able to fly the coop. You should be able to know that you now know how to eat. You should be able to eventually stop weighing your healthy extras. You should be able to eventually stop counting your sins. And you should be able to be a Slimming World member for life, because you will know from your clothes whether you're gaining weight or not. You don't need to keep getting on the scales. You know, once you're there, you're there. No, that's not my experience. And that's not the experience of the friends I've had at Slimming World over the years. My experience for me as an individual is that unless I work the plan 100% to get where I want to be and continue working the plan 100% to stay there, it doesn't work for me. I'm not saying the plan doesn't work, I'm saying it doesn't work if I don't work it. If I start adding in extra B choices, if I start throwing in more sins, if I get lax about the quality of food that I eat, the weight goes back on. And it goes back on very easily, because I cannot believe even today how easily I got up to 11 stone 3.5 from being around 9 stone for several years. But the only reason I was around 9 stone for several years is because I worked the plan on a daily basis to stay there. And I haven't been doing that 100%. And it's just crept up and up and up. And okay, I'm on the way back down again, and I'm really glad about that. But I don't think that this mythical word, beginning with T and ending with T, Target, even if you get to Target, say you set your target at a BMI of 27, 28, which a lot of people do, and I know a lot of people won't agree with me about BMIs. I happen to believe in a BMI. I don't think the bloody thing would exist if it didn't mean anything. And I think if you have got an unhealthy BMI, it's very easy to poo-poo it. If you've got a healthier BMI, it's very easy to say you agree with it. I think I started with a BMI of 56, and now I've got a BMI of about 27. I want a BMI of under 25, and I'll get back there. I'm saying 27, it might not be 27 today, I haven't actually worked it out. But this mythical target thing, I think for me, first of all, I never believed I'd get there. So when I actually got there on the 5th of December 2015, nobody was more surprised than I was. And when I actually managed to stay there for the best part of 5 years, nobody was more surprised than I was. But when I relaxed working the plan and became complacent and less disciplined, I couldn't stay there. Because I know today that even if I was doing Weight Watchers, calorie counting, Cambridge, whatever, unless I actually do it as prescribed, it won't work. So if I decided to do calorie counting, and I looked up what was a calorie allowance to enable me to lose, say, £1 a week, which means cutting down by how many calories a day, Joe?
Isn't it £500 under your maintenance?
So you find your maintenance target. Say my maintenance target was 1,400. I'm picking a figure out there because I've never worked that out either. But say it was 1,400. And then I want to lose £1 a week, so I set myself a weight loss number of 1,350. Unless I eat that 1,350, I'm not going to lose weight. If I start saying to myself, oh, it doesn't matter today, I'll have 1,700 today. It doesn't matter today, I'll have 1,600 today. I'll have 1,200 tomorrow, but then the next day I'll have 17 again because I'm feeling deprived. I won't lose weight. If I go to Weight Watchers and they say to me, here you are, you've got 30 points a day and you've got 42 weekly points, because that's what Sarah, who I watch, has. But I don't know if that's her maintenance or she's still on weight loss, but if I did that and every day I ate 36, but I still over the week ate my 42, my weeklies, I wouldn't lose weight. It's all about discipline and being lower on your intake of calories than your expenditure. So calorie deficit. The same rule applies to Slimming World. They give you boundaries with your A's and your B's and your free foods and your sins, and it's up to me to stick to that. And I've not been doing that. I've not been doing that 100%. So I've decided that really I've got 13 weeks tomorrow until my 65th birthday. And I can't believe it's 5 years nearly since I did that video on the zip wire at the Trent Bridge cricket ground. You know, that was when I was not long at Target, well, probably a year and a half at Target, and I was brave enough to get into this tiny little harness, which, believe me, if I hadn't have been around the 9 stone or whatever I was at the time, he'd have never got the harness on me, because it was tiny. And I did that zip wire challenge, and that's 5 years have gone since then. You know, and I'm going to be 65 in 13 weeks' time, and then another 5 years, and I'll be 70. And they say the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight. So when I was in my 20s, I found it hard enough. When I was in my 30s, I found it hard enough. My 40s, my 50s, it was hard enough. If I'm back now to being in a weight loss situation rather than a maintaining situation, I've made it harder for myself. If I'd have stayed doing what I was doing, I wouldn't be in this situation today. And I just want to say to anybody, you know, if you're in the same situation as me, kind of call it today and say enough is enough. Because we don't want to go up, 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 because it's harder to come back down, down, down. Now, I'm 10 years postmenopausal. So in theory, I should be finding it really, really difficult to lose weight. It isn't easy. It's simple if I follow the plan, but it isn't easy. I wouldn't say it's impossible. I just need the discipline. But I can honestly say today that being 10 years menopausal has not had a majorly dramatic effect on me. So, you know, all the years that we're young and we're losing weight, we're blaming hormones every 4 weeks for weight gain. I don't have any of those problems now. I can lose weight consistently, slowly, steadily, because I don't have the hormonal issues today. So in a lot of ways, I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I don't have to put my hand up in group and use Star Week as an excuse, because look at me, I've gained this. I'm not a person who retains a lot of fluid. So even like on the hot week last week, I don't retain fluid. I don't have that kind of body makeup. I know a lot of people do struggle with that, but I can't use that as a reason or an excuse. So I made a little list, Joe, didn't I? Mm-hmm. What's point 3 on my list?
Having a 13-week project to take me to 65.
Yeah, so I've got a 13-week project. So 13 weeks tomorrow, I'm going to be 65. I want to be back down in the 9 stones by then. I'm not saying I want to be at target, because I don't really believe I'll ever set a target. I don't want a target. So part of my project is to buy a food diary. I've never had a food diary before. And so yesterday morning, or just before lunchtime, I said to Joe, go on Amazon and find me a Slimming World type food diary. Can you show it, Joe? What does it say on the front? Believe in yourself?
Sorry, it's not here.
Oh, it's on the worktop in the kitchen. I think. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does it say believe in yourself?
Yeah.
And what else does it say?
Eat, drink and be happy.
That's what I want.
Food, mood and fitness journey tracker.
Forget the fitness journey. Food and mood's important, because when I'm down on myself and I'm hard on myself, I'm not in a good place. But likewise, when I'm in a happy place, I can still eat it. I'm just an emotional eater. I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be disciplined like I used to be when I first did Slimming World, when I first got to Target and everything. So I've set myself up this 13-week project. I bought this food diary, which Joe will fill in for me every day. So at least at the end of the 13 weeks, I've got something in writing. Because I'm a bit of a one for making notes on my iPad, sticking it on my laptop, and not consistently going back to filling it in. So I can just text Joe what I eat, and he'll fill it in for me. That was £6.10, and it's a 12-week, I think, isn't it, Joe? 12-week journal.
Yeah.
Can you show a page on the inside to show what it's made up of? Now, we ordered that at something past 11 yesterday morning from Amazon, and it came last night. Because I was like, find one on Prime, I want it for day 1. So it actually came about 9:15 last night, which was a Sunday, so very good. So what can you fill in on there, Joe?
You've got the day of the week, the plan I'm following today is, and then you've got morning, midday, evening and snacks, and then you fill in your free speed, healthy treats.
So treats would be your sins.
Yeah.
Not using the word.
And then there's little like icons to check off, so fluids, fruit and vegetables, fitness tracker.
So at least some of that should motivate me into actually acknowledging whether or not I'm on plan or off plan. Because I want to try and achieve more days on plan. I've been achieving more days off plan. So that's feeling good. I feel like I'm going somewhere now. I feel like I've got something in mind that is going to keep me thinking about working the plan, actively working the plan, still weighing in every week. And the thing is, when I look at it logically, I've been doing this now for 6 years and 1 month. I've never missed a weigh-in. I've got every weigh-in for 6 years and 1 month. I don't take periods off because I've gained weight. I don't say, oh, I'll lose the weight before I get weighed for group again. I face it. That's why it's worked for me, because I'll face a gain. If I didn't face my gains, I'd keep going up. And then sooner or later, I think I'd be beyond saving, or beyond feeling I could save myself. So that was that. So that's the 13-week plan. Point 4.
Food diary from Amazon.
Oh, that's it, yeah. So food diary from Amazon, £6.10. I paid for it. I'm not advertising, because you can get these food diaries from group. We've probably got some in our pack that we can fill in anyway. You can get them on Etsy and eBay and God knows where else. So I'm not promoting Amazon. I'm just saying, if you want one and you want it fast, I got mine within like 9 hours. And I felt I needed that. I felt I needed to start today with all my arsenal of tools in place. So I wrote my food diary on a text last night, sent it to Joe, committed to doing it today, and wanted to get off to a good start. And then point 5 on my list, I know this one. 11 years ago, as lots of you will know who followed me from the beginning of my maintenance journey, 11 years ago I paid to have a gastric band. 6 years ago I had it loosened when I joined Slimming World. 3 years ago I went to see my consultant. I tend to go every 18 months or so, but 3 years ago was the last time I saw him. And I actually said to him, empty it and make sure there's only a tiny, tiny bit in it, because a tight band doesn't work. For anybody who doesn't know anything about gastric bands, let me just give you a quick idea. They restrict the size of your stomach, so how much you can eat, how quickly it passes through. But when you have one done, whether it be on the NHS at their expense or at a private hospital at your own expense like I did, what they don't tell you is you can still eat chocolate, you can still eat cake, you can still eat crisps, you can still eat biscuits. Those things slide through your band. Well, I'm sharing my experience. Those things would slide through my band. Nuts, custard, ice cream, anything high calorie will slide through my band. But you sit down and try and eat chicken, cauliflower, broccoli and carrots. No. So when I first had my band in the first year, I actually gained weight because I was eating all the wrong stuff. Even though I wasn't eating as much of it, I was still eating the wrong stuff. And then over the years, I have lost the weight, 8.5 stone before I went to Slimming World, and then 5 stone in total at Slimming World at my max. Did I use my band to do this? Yeah, I did, in all honesty. Do I use it today to do this? Not in the same way. And the reason I am paying, and I don't know how much it's going to cost me tonight, because they said, you haven't seen your consultant for 3 years. Well, I couldn't because of 18 months of COVID. We will have to charge you as a new patient, so bring your checkbook. I don't know how much I'm going to have to pay tonight, but what I do know is it's worth it. Because when you've got a gastric band, and for anybody else who's watching this who has one, I don't know if you're aware, because the NHS have never told any of my friends who've got them that had them done on the NHS, but even if you have your band really reduced, because mine would hold up to 10 mils of saline, and last time I had it, it probably had 1.5 mils in it, they can actually fill up externally. You have a thing where they put a needle, but they can empty it and fill it through like a port. But there is some way, these gastric bands, which look like tiny mini armbands, like if you're kids swimming and you have this little armband. Well, that's what a gastric band looks like, but it's round your top of your stomach. They can fill it through the port, but there is a way the bands can actually absorb water or liquid and fill up and tighten. And I'm actually at a situation where I think that's what mine's done. because for the last 2 or 3 weeks I've been really struggling. Not with food so much as with fluids. So I said to Joe on Friday, I need to go and see Mr. Beckingham. Rang the hospital out of Sherwood Forest, and I'm going tonight to see him because I need to deal with this. I can't ignore it because it's actually stopping me enjoying my food and drink. And to stick to a plan, I need to be eating and drinking things I love that are on plan. And I couldn't for the life of me today sit down and eat a head of broccoli. But I could eat 4 bars of chocolate and a cake, and that's not right. So I know that I'm not in the right place physically. If Mr. Beckingham can get me back into the right place physically by making sure my band is really loose, I know that actually portion control isn't a problem for me today. I know that grazing isn't a problem for me today. I know that overeating, if I'm eating the right foods, isn't a problem for me today. But I do know that when my band is tight, then I'll revert to eating all the wrong foods because they will slide through. So I'm being totally upfront and honest with you. That's where I'm at today. I'm prepared to start a new part of my journey. I want to get back on the motorway. I've been sitting in the lay-by and then tootling a bit further away down the scenic route and finding myself a nice shaded spot and carrying on that way. I want to get back onto the biggest, fastest, most comfortable motorway that we've got so that I can just sit in the slow lane like the tortoise and gently lose weight. Drip, drip, drip. I don't want to be in the fast lane. I wouldn't mind being on one of those motorways that's got lots of lanes so everybody else can just keep going past me and I can sit in the slow lane. That's good enough for me today. But yeah, so today it's the 7th of June. We'll see where I am on the 7th of September. But I will be back in between. So yeah, sharing that with you, being honest about where I'm at, and my weight today is 10 stone 8 pounds, which is one hell of a lot better than 11 stone 3.5 in my book. So hope you're all okay, take care of yourselves, and we will see you soon. Cheers.